Hey everybody, it's Wes here from the Average Gamer Guys. So I'm your average 35-year-old gamer, and I've recently made a new purchase. Now, with my job, I travel a fair bit for work. Have been a little bit in the last couple of months, so flights here and there, road trips away, seeing clients and things like that as well. So fair bit of time on the road away from home. And I was looking around JB Hi-Fi the other day, and they had some sales on, and the Nintendo Switch was on sale. So I had a bit of a look at it. I'd seen it before. Obviously, it's been out for a couple of years now. But a lot of the marketing that I'd seen around it and game titles and things like that, for me, felt like they were marketed towards kids, younger people, a lot more, which I think they pretty much were. But recently, there's been a lot more interest in it from some of the bigger gaming studios that are transferring some of their AAA titles over to the Switch now that they've sold so many consoles, basically. So there's games like The Witcher 3 on its way to the Switch. Mortal Kombat 11 was released on the Switch. The FIFA's released on the Switch. There's NBA Playgrounds, if you were a fan of the NBA Jam back in the day. That's a new one that's out there as well. So there's some fantastic titles that have come out for the Switch. Wolfenstein is a new one that's just come out as well. So a lot of titles that are geared more towards adults, older people like myself, basically, with R-rated MA titles, etc., for violence. So that sort of caught my interest a little bit. So I actually grabbed a Switch and a couple of games myself, and have been playing around with it, and I've actually been loving it. So yeah, if anyone's thinking about it, anyone that travels a lot for work, spends some time away, it's actually a pretty cool little thing to have, like a modern Game Boy, basically. You know, I grew up with the original Nintendos, so it's pretty cool to go back and play the originals, as like the original Mario's and those sorts of games as well. Double Dragon, which is on there too. So a lot of the old games are on there, as well as revamped versions of those. Like there's all the new Mario's that have come out. There's the new Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and some other Zeldas coming out as well. So that's been a huge amount of fun. So I'd highly recommend for any of the people that grew up with games like myself, for the nostalgia side of things. It's actually really cool to have this, and to go over it, it's actually a pretty cool little unit. It's got a nice widescreen that's really good quality that you can see really well. So obviously you can hold it, you play it here like this if you're on a plane or a train, something like that. But some of the cool things about it are the versatility with the controls. So I can very easily pop off each side of the control, so it just becomes the screen, and it's got this really cool little kickstand on the back that you can pop out like that, which locks in, so I can rest that on a desk basically if I don't want to sit and hold the screen and play with that, and I can just hold the controls in my hands and play like this and operate the console. But it does come standard with this little control holder, which turns it into basically just another control like a PlayStation or an Xbox control, which is really cool. So now I've got a control that feels a little more ergonomic, a little more like what you're used to with a PlayStation or an Xbox control. Now, one of the negatives, or a couple of the negatives that I've found with the controls are, with the standard ones, the thumbsticks, they're not super precise, and they are a little bit hard to use, but they're a lot smaller than the Xbox PlayStation controls. But you can get, if you get serious and you actually get into the games and you want a bit more precision, you can get pro controllers and better quality controllers that will connect to the Switch so that you do get that same precision and feel. From that, they've got the button layouts are really similar in that the four buttons in the diamond shape, which you can see sort of just here. There, I know it's a little bit far away, but you can see there. So they're laid out similar to the other controls, but they've gone slightly different with the layout. Whereas the button at the bottom of the diamond on an Xbox and PlayStation, the select button, main sort of enter through menu buttons. What they've done with the Switch is they've actually made it this one here on the right hand side, which is the A button, and the button at the bottom is the back button. So it does take a little bit of getting used to. If you play on another console other than a Nintendo, you might find you're backing out of menu screens a couple of times before you get the hang of it, but it doesn't take too long to get the hang of that. So that's kind of cool. But really cool that it comes with that. So there's a lot of versatility with the controls. It will also come with a cradle that connects to a HDMI cable and the charging source, which connects to your TV. So you can leave that next to your TV in your entertainment cabinet, which will charge the console, but you'll also plug it straight into that, and then it will display the console screen on your TV. So you can play it like a normal console as well, which is really, really cool. And when you're doing that with some of the more basic games, these individual controls here actually turn into one control for two people. So out of the one main controller, I can use this as player one, and this one can be used as player two, sort of like in that layout. So from here, away I go. And there's some buttons at the top here as well. There is also another little attachment that slides onto there that puts the buttons like the left and right bumpers. So then you get some two-player games, so it's kind of cool to sit down, play two-player with some of the old Mario games, Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, all that kind of stuff, which is really cool. So a couple of the other negatives, I've spoken about the buttons layout. It takes a little bit to get used to. One thing that I think they've sort of, I guess, missed a little bit is that there's no internal Bluetooth chip to connect to Bluetooth headphones wirelessly. So you've got to either use wired headphones, plug them in. There is a plug at the top for your, an audio jack for your headphones, or get a Bluetooth dongle that plugs into that then will connect to your headphones. So that's a little bit clunky. I would have thought that they probably would have put Bluetooth connectivity for wireless headphones straight into the console, but they haven't done that. The other thing that they've decided to go away from at this stage is having apps available for the Switch like Stan, Netflix, all those streaming apps, YouTube, stuff like that. So they're really, really making sure it stays as a gaming console. So I don't know if there'll be a Netflix app on the way, but it would be kind of cool as well for people like me that travel a lot to be able to download a couple of shows on Netflix and watch those on the plane or on a train. But all in all, I'm having an absolute ball with the Switch. I'm absolutely loving it. There's some really, really cool games that are available that I've spoken about earlier, but really cool to be able to go back and play NBA Playgrounds. That reminds me of NBA Jam that I played a lot when I was a kid. Some of the old Mario, like the original Mario 1, 2, 3, are all available on there as well. The old Donkey Kongs, Double Dragon, which was another one that I used to love too. So it's really cool to have that ability to be able to go back and play those again. And from a family point of view as well, the other things that it's kind of cool to be able to, if I feel like playing, or maybe the girlfriend, the wife's watching one of the a chick flick or one of the a girly TV show you don't really want to watch, but you can still be there on the couch with her, but you can play some games a little bit, sort of distract, don't have to pay attention to that. But then from the family side of things, really cool. The kids are going to love it, but you're going to be able to play it as well. Play two-player with some other games, and the parental controls on it, from what I've seen, really cool too. There's an app that you can download straight onto your smartphone that you can control basically access to everything. So when your kids are on there, you can control whether they can actually play certain games or not, and what content that they can get access to, which is really cool. So I'm all for it. I love it. I'm super happy that I've got it. So I definitely can see the Nintendo Switch is now gearing itself more towards the older gaming community like myself as well. So as I said, if you travel a lot and you've been thinking about it, you've seen it, some of the games that are coming out sort of pique your interest a little bit, I think it's highly worth it. So they were my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch.